It's with great pleasure that I would like to introduce Amelia Womack, the Green Party Deputy Leader. Over to you, Amelia.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here in Norwich, one of our green heartlands, at a time when it's clear that we can get more Greens in Parliament, when we can ensure that green voice on Norfolk Council. Because here in Norfolk and in Norwich, people know the difference that a Green makes. A Green will stand up against cuts. A Green will make sure that the air pollution levels in our towns and cities are reduced. A Greens will invest in public transport. On a national basis, we are working to secure the future of our NHS and ensure that it stays entirely in public hands. We're standing up for the rights of young people who have been let down by this current government as a result of rising tuition fees, paying for a housing crisis that they did not cause, and also having an increase in zero-hour contracts and the gig economy. This is an opportunity for people to use their vote proudly and use their vote for a bold, progressive future that we deserve, especially in the turmoil of this time of post the triggering of Article 50 and during the Brexit negotiations. So it's a real honour to be here with our Green councillors who are making a difference in their communities already. And if we just hear a bit more about their work, I'd like to introduce Richard Beardman, who is the leader of the Green Group on Norfolk Council and the candidate for Norwich South.
Thank you, Amelia, and thank you for coming to Norwich. It is a great privilege and honour to be selected by the Green Party to represent them for Norwich South in the short notice general election that was called recently. For 8 years I've been leader of the Green Group on Norfolk County Council, and some of the campaigns we've had there, like improving air quality, trying to do things to get lower carbon and zero carbon buses into our fine city of Norwich, because for years we've exceeded the air quality limits in the city centre and it's not good for people's health. We've also been doing things like promoting the real living wage. A question I've asked the leader of the council on 3 successive years at the AGM is when will they bring in the real living wage, not the national minimum wage, for Norfolk County Council workers. And I've been giving a variety of reasons: too expensive, too difficult, we don't run schools, as to why it hasn't happened. But that and issues like getting votes for 16-year-olds is another campaign we've done locally. And all of these campaigns I want to translate to the national level. And if I'm fortunate enough to get elected alongside Caroline Lucas, these are the sorts of things Greens will be campaigning for at a national level, as well as carrying on with Norwich. I'd now like to hand over to Martin to say a few words.
Okay, I think we're also going to allow Andrew to say a few words in particular about what the impact that not having, I suppose, Green Party councillors and Green Party MPs and Green Party representatives at every level is, and why it's so important that we vote Green on May the 5th and then also on June the 8th.
Yeah, thank you very much, Martin and Amelia, and thank you very much for all coming here today to our manifesto launch. I thought I'd start actually with just an interesting fact you might not know, that we now have had about half a century of councillor years on Norfolk County Council. If you add up the number of councillor years since we were first elected in 2005, we've actually had somewhere around about 50 years of Green Party work on Norfolk County Council. And I want to talk a bit about that and what we've achieved over those years, and also what's in our manifesto, which is what we're here to launch today. So it's very, very important to have that strong green voice on our councils, as others have said. We offer a different vision of politics, one which is based on people and their fundamental needs. That's why you'll see a core values and vision section at the beginning of this manifesto. That's including protecting nature, having a flourishing local economy, thriving grassroots communities, strong public services, including a properly funded NHS, and crucially addressing the key issue of our time, properly tackling climate change. Strong green voices are needed in our council chambers and committees to campaign again and again for these vital features of a fair, tolerant and compassionate society. Between us, Richard Bierman and I have actually been doing that for a combined 20 years of those 50 we spoke about. And the Greens have always been the only anti-austerity voice on Norfolk County Council. We voted against every austerity budget since 2010. And if the Labour, UKIP and Lib Dem alliance had accepted our amendments over the years, the council would now have a further £33 million every year, £33 million additional budget every year to put into social services. We also first lobbied for better democratic processes on the council, and that's led to the committee system where all councillors make decisions rather than just a few councillors in a cabinet. We played a key role in stopping the Tories' Norfolk incinerator dream and in developing plans since 2013 for moving towards a zero waste policy in Norfolk. We persuaded the council to start cleaning up the diesel buses. Richard has mentioned the air pollution problem in Norwich. A campaign which continues very strongly now that Norwich's air quality problem has at last been acknowledged by the other parties. We are now pushing for the councils to do more, providing electric vehicle infrastructure, charging points and the like, which will be necessary to get people out of the diesel polluting vehicles. Finally, whilst the mainstream politicians have been massively distracted by Brexit, and I'm not saying that Brexit isn't important, and avoiding an extreme hard Brexit that Theresa May wants is really important. We have to protect the rights of European citizens living here in Europe. We need to keep involved our economic ties with Europe, preferably access to the single market. That's very, very important. But the political establishment has allowed a massive distraction to occur, whilst there's really other serious problems like social injustice in this country, growing poverty and climate change. And at Norfolk County Council we've persuaded the council to adopt carbon reduction targets and invest in solar energy technology, including at Coltishall and on County Hall. The next Greens at County Hall will push for a full annual carbon budget. Do come through. It's vital that all this work continues and that we have strong green voices at County Hall. It's a great pleasure to be here to introduce you to this manifesto. Thank you for your time.